What's going on, everybody? It is I, the Loaf King. Welcome back to the Lunchbox. This is like the third, fourth video I have made one sitting. Can you tell? Can you tell? In the same freaking outfit. Anyway, today, well, I'm saying today. For this video, I just wanted to go ahead and update y'all. Not even the update, more so just react and talk about a couple of the things that we got revealed in the past couple of months when it came to Sonic X Shadow Generations. I'm pretty sure that I did post my reaction at the very least to the 3-episode animated series that is currently in the works leading up to the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie, but the little Shadow Generations thing. I also gave my reaction to the dang, what was it called again? My reaction to the first reveal of gameplay for Shadow Generations, and I'm pretty sure I did that in the podcast. So if you didn't get to hear my opinion on it, you can definitely go ahead and take a look at I think it was episode 6 or 5 of the podcast. I spoke about that. And I also spoke a little bit more about it in our most recent podcast we did, episode 7. So definitely check those out. We have it on Spotify, and with the video version is on YouTube as well. Well, 7 isn't out yet, but it will be out by the end of the day on Spotify, and then on YouTube I'll have it out by the 30th. But enough of that. I know I spoke for like 2 minutes now about that stuff. What y'all are here for is to get my opinion and reactions on the gameplay that has been revealed recently, as well as the Sonic X Shadow Generations Doom Powers trailer. So I just wanted to run through this again real quick. Again, I spoke about this a bit. Ooh, damn, that's loud. I spoke about this a bit on something calls to me in my in one of those segments within the podcast where we brought this up. But
again, Shadow the Hedgehog.
I'm gonna be pausing a lot in this. Just a heads up.
You cannot deny your.
So we have Doom speaking to Shadow through some type of obelisk or something. And the first move power that they show off in the Doom Powers trailer is Doom Spears. Ain't gonna lie to you, it's cool, but at the same time, it's pretty, it feels like just an excuse for them to just try to incorporate the spears, but there's no real reason for that though, because you can use the Chaos Spears in Sonic 06 as much as most people don't want to talk about it. That was the game where you can do Chaos Spear at any time. But thing is, this will be I think this will be like a power that you like choose to activate at random times. I don't know. We still don't know exactly how activating the powers will work, but I just wanted to point that out. Doom Spear, it is slightly better because, as you can see here, you can shoot a whole bunch of them in one like sitting. It's like a homing attack without you having to actually home attack into the enemy. I like how they can how you could use that. So we saw a couple of things in this scene, and I just want to point them out as fast as I can. We still have 2 other videos to look at. Now I could be wrong about this. Let me not. I'm done. I'm not. I'm kidding. All right. Relax. This is clearly Sunset Heights. People have pointed it out before. I myself, I thought that this was the pyramid stage from Sonic Adventure 2. I forgot actually the name of that. So please don't butcher me. Sonic Forces. Yeah, Sunset Heights. They're saying that this is Sunset Heights. And looking at the different scenes here, I'm kind of just like, I guess so. You know? And then we got more warped area. This might be still more Sunset Heights, honestly. Next up, we have Doom Blast. Launch your enemies. So, Doom Blast does look cool. Got a little cool little punch segment, melee combo that you do to the enemy. And then you finish it off with a cross kick that sends them flying through a whole bunch of crap. You can even affect environments, as you can see right here. And you can even, like, you'll even get like a reticle and you can control how you kick it and stuff. So that was cool. Only thing that I will like go ahead and point out about this that I'm a little sad about is that this feels like this is supposed to be like replacing like Chaos Blast. Shadow has always been able to do Chaos Blast up until well, I guess I can't say always, but he stopped using Chaos Blast after Shadow the Hedgehog. And I feel like that was such a cool move that he had before. It's weird to see him not use that anymore. I don't know if that's because he realized how dangerous it was to the people around him, but like, I'm kind of hoping that they bring it back in this game, because there's apparently a lot of things that they're actually changing, even script wise, with this game. I'm not just talking about Shadow Generations. I'm talking about Sonic Generations as well. They're like apparently redubbing a whole bunch of stuff, but we'll get into that later. But it's cool. Next move that we get is Doom Morph. This is so. All right, well, let it play first. You can like tether to things and like climb up walls and stuff and all that. So let's go back for a sec. So Doom Morph is cool, right? Because, you know, you could go into a whole bunch of different terrains without the worry of, you know, being damaged. I like the idea of them doing this, as weird as it is, because of the fact that the reality is that Shadow is an alien, basically. Like, we can make the arguments about Sonic and what they are and stuff, but Shadow is literally has alien DNA from Doom. So why would he not be able to like do some of the things that that the Black Arms race like was capable of doing? You know, like I don't know, maybe I'm reaching here, but like it makes sense to me that he would be able to do something like this. So allowing him to tap into his DNA to actually morph and stuff is actually kind of it's actually a cool idea. And of course, you know, it's got this edgy side to it too. A lot of the stuff that it can do reminds me a lot of Wisp from Sonic Colors, though. I will say that. It seems like it is still fast though, and it's not like it was like You know, even if you look back to when he used it right here, it was pretty instant. You know, you see that? Like you just instantly morphed into it, and you still moving, still got the speed going. Like you can still dash and everything. I don't know if that the purple is the only environments that he can like trudge through, but I have a feeling that it's like for a lot of different things. But regardless, it's cool. The tether, it is weird, and yes, I know that this has like a lot of resemblance to stuff that Venom would do in like video games and stuff. But the tether, I think it's cool. Is a cool little addition for another type of platforming. It reminds me actually of Rayman a little bit, using the tether to like swing and stuff with the loom power and all that. But that's a whole nother topic. Doom Wings. This was the first thing that we saw at the end of the first reveal trailer. Wait, no. Not the end of the first reveal trailer, right? It was the second trailer. Because this is the third, right? I think so. I'm pretty sure this is the third. This is the third trailer for Sonic X Shadow Generations. They revealed this at the end, and then people had a lot of questions on what the heck was going on. Why does Shadow have wings? And this is what we got. And honestly, to me, they look cool. Are they unnecessary? Yeah, they are. But I mean, this is that little edgy bit that they just adds to Shadow's character. To me, like if he can already morph, then like it would make sense also that he'd be able to activate. He could like create wings on his back as well. Like Shadow's truly like becoming like Venom for sure, though, with all this, all these abilities here. But I love it. I think it's cool. It looks fast still. Maybe not as fast as you being on the ground, but it still looks fast. And how well it controls is a whole nother story. Like we need to actually see it in action before we could say, oh, it looks like it feels good. It can look like it, sure, but does it actually feel good? That's a big thing with Sega games. They have to feel good to move around and stuff. Sonic games more specifically. Doom Surf. There ain't really much else to at least say here. Like this already kind of puts him above Sonic to some degree. But at the same time, I just want to go ahead and say Shadow really doesn't need this. If there's a power that I personally feel was unnecessary for Shadow, this probably would be it. Because both him and Sonic are fast enough to run across water already. So this it's kind of unnecessary to me. That said, I will go ahead and point out that this is still a good benefit to Shadow. As you can see, you can like easily traverse water, no problem. And yeah, the big dog is here. Metallic Madness, aka Neo Metal Sonic. And it looks dope, all of it. I got some new artwork. So, yeah. Looks dope. I love it. I can't wait for them to I can't wait for the game to come out. Straight up. And also a collection had came out for limited games. Let's see if I can bring that up really quick. Limited. games. Limited run games. There it was. But yeah, we have Sonic X Shadow Generations Special Collection out here, and it looks dope. You get a Dreamcast with Sonic and Shadow posing on top of it. It's not a real Dreamcast; it's a statue, all the same. Steelbook case and some music, and it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's dope. It's very dope. Sadly, when I pre-ordered though, I went and got the PC edition, and I think my downside to this is strictly going to be the fact that I'm getting. You know what? I don't want to really think about it, to be honest, because it's just gonna make me sad. But you can see everything that comes here, right? Sonic and Shadow, classic Sonic shoes, keychain, child figurines, steelbook, commemorative Dreamcast jewel case, Sonic X Shadow Dreamcast statue, official soundtrack, the art of Sonic X Shadow Generations art book, Steam code of Sonic X Shadow Generations for PC, individual numbered certificate of authenticity, boy. All that is cool. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost looking at it. The reason why I'm like sad slash nervous about my decision was because you get all of that, right? But you miss out, it looks like, on all this extra stuff. The legacy skin for Modern Sonic, Gerald Robotnik's 28-page logbook chronicling stuff. This is the physical launch edition that you would be getting, and it doesn't seem like you get that with the PC version. So I was, a bit sad about that. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. I already pre-ordered the Switch version at GameStop of just the game to see if I get like the physical launch edition stuff for Switch at least. If I do get that stuff, then I'll be happy. I'll be able to move on with life. I'm gonna do it regardless, but you get what I'm saying. All that stuff looks cool, and I'm definitely getting it regardless, one way or another. So yeah, there's that. Moving on. More gameplay came out today. What a surprise. After just getting the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie trailer, we get more gameplay. So we're about to go ahead and take a look at this. We're going to analyze the heck out of it. There's a couple of people that have played it. I'm not going to look at all of them, but I got like at least 3 different gameplays right here for us to look through. So without further ado, let's look at this. What was that? The heck?
Out of my way.
Oh, this is dope. I like how it just keeps Shadow moving too. And this is like a good replacement over him using like the vehicles from Gun. I'm not saying that he can't use that in any future games, but like personally for me, this feels like a good substitute. They got a good challenge here too. This looks dope. Yes, Sega. Giving challenges again, are you? I like this. You do not need to hold our hands. And this is the beginning of this is Kingdom Valley, by the way. The boost is It's basically what he does in Generations, honestly. But I kind of wish that he was doing the just faster skating instead of just boosting like that. What was that? Did they just give like Shadow just a whole bunch of different animations? Look at that. Yo, I'm sorry. I know we're only 1 minute in, but like, look at this. He drops down. I don't know if that was like he just jumped off something or something like that, but he jumps down, he does a slide, and then just spins out into the skate. Like, that's dope, man. Those extra little additions to the animations goes like a long way, man. And look at that little secret that they had there. Those little hidden secrets for different little pathways you can take. Ah, man. Kingdom Valley was my favorite stage of all time in 06. Like, as janky as that game was, like it did have some cool looking stages at times, man. It had a couple cool looking stages. And for this, to me, this was the best one out of all of them. Like, it's just like, this is like literally the stage that when this game first came out, the original 06, they with the extra mile to very cool. They were pushing this stage heavy. That is the ultimate power. And there goes the chaos control. So you can just do this stuff on the fly, man. Oh my gosh. They're showing us freaking Metallic Madness fight. Come black mark on the floor. They kept the song the way it usually is, it looks like. It's like a slight remix. Trying to reach inside of me, trying to get my energy. Let me show you just. Got the telltales for when you have to dodge. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the song too, but like, this is dope. So this is how you attack, huh? Or is it that you're trying to slow him down so you can reach him and do the combo? Showing us the beginning of the fight. This is dope.
Let's see how long you last on such unstable terrain.
Yo.
You think you can stop me?
They're giving all the abilities. Oh, wait. I'm talking over this stuff. This is the first like real 2D segment that I'm seeing. But I kind of like how they incorporated it.
I am the king of all creation. Nobody can defeat me. Not you, not Sonic, not anyone.
That was dope, man.
king of all creation. Nobody can defeat me. Not you, not Sonic, not anyone.
Yeah. Nobody can defeat me. Not you, not Sonic, not anyone. Hard as fuck. I haven't felt this way about a Sonic boss fight in a long time. Metal Overlord. Sorry. That's what he's called. Metal Overlord. Man. I mean, it's Neo Metal Sonic, but that's his transformed state. That's what he's called. You telling yourself that you sent to your junkyard. This is such a Sonic style quote. No, like for real though. Like I thought the same thing to myself, and I had to see if somebody thought the same way right then and there, and apparently they did. Crazy. All right. So that was that from GameSpot, and now we're gonna look at this video that says Sonic X Shadow Generations is modern Sonic in a nutshell. This is
everyone,
like a
I'm Kurt, and this is Dance Reichert.
Hello.
hands-on
We're
opinion.
here
Oh, yes.
at
Yes, we are.
Gamescom
Yes.
2024, where we just saw Sonic.
Sonic X Shadow Generations.
There's an important part, which is the X, the shadow.
Yeah, Sonic's always weird with the naming stuff. Remember, technically it's Sonic 3 and Knuckles is Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, but then if you want to play the whole thing, that's a whole thing. That's old.
Yeah,
We're old.
okay.
I'm old, especially.
old.
I'm
I'm old.
especially
You're
old.
old.
Yes, Sonic Generations came out, I want to say 2011, early 2010s. And it was, as far as modern
The waterfall
Sonic
run
goes,
scene.
one of the better
Sir.
received ones.
Okay,
Not a
it's specifically like 3D.
Well, it kind of did 2D. The whole gimmick was basically like, oh, here's old style Sonic, the kind of stumpier one with the different eyes, and and then here's the new Sonic, and so and they're teaming up, and so yeah, new Sonic. Yeah, exactly. Versus oh, cool, charming,
And now we have,
Well, Shadow, yes.
Shadow.
So that's the thing is Sonic Generations in its entirety is in this game.
Yes, remastered.
Yes, remastered, looks better, everything. And honestly, it's kind of a fun game. Very snappy platformer, does the 2D stuff, does the 3D levels. That's over here. So think about Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
Yes,
The way they did it on Wii U.
yes.
So it's you still have that
You have it, and then you just push the menu over, and it's kind of like this new game.
Yeah, it's sectioned off where it's here's the shadow levels here, and it's not a big giant campaign. I've heard it was 4 hours-ish long. But again, that's similar to Bowser's Fury again. So how that went. But yeah, I got a little bit of hands-on time with Shadow. It is honestly, there have been so many bad 3D Sonics. I played through the entirety of 06 on GiantBomb.com, and it was one of the worst times of my life. This is I feel like this game feels kind of what they were going for if they had made that game successfully. It is 3D, it's a lot of, rail grinding, it's a lot of loops, there's a lot of times where you feel like you can kind of set the controller down.
And just watch Sonic just run.
Yeah, but that's kind of that's what Sonic is. I mean, that's what Sonic always was on Genesis, and that's
I
how
don't-
it would
hold
feel in
on.
a 3D space. So I think, honestly, this feels pretty decent.
I don't know about
Set the
that.
world on fire.
Hold on. Let me just clear something up real quick. You being able to put the controller down is not something that you want in a Sonic game. Now, if you want that, you can play Sonic Forces, honestly, where you just have to hold one button and Sonic will blast through a whole stage. Or there'll be a segment where you just do one thing, and then all of a sudden you have a whole segment where you don't have to even push nothing. And then Sonic will get through everything, no problem. There was somebody who was it? Sam Procrastinates. He actually did a video showcasing that he could, when he was playing Forces, literally that you boost down a hallway and stuff, and he was able to make a sandwich within the time that it took for him to have to actually hold the controller. That is not good Sonic level design at all. And I need that guy to rethink what he's saying right there, because that's not what people are looking for. That is not what Sonic normally is. Even in the retro Sonic games, Sonic 1, 2, and 3, you didn't always have it where you could just run for a whole 2 minutes or like a minute and 30 seconds, whatever you want to call it. Hell, a minute even, where you can run for a whole minute without having to do nothing. Like platforming, fast platforming is part of the game, and just platforming in general. Like, so I highly disagree with what he's saying there. Maybe there's something in this game that says otherwise. I mean, like, heck, there's a lot of different things that you need to do in this game. It seems a lot more involved than past Sonic games, honestly, if you ask me, in terms of like the different things you have to activate or powers for Shadow that you have to use. But I'm gonna let them finish.
But it is a video game-ass video game. I enjoy it while I'm playing it.
Oh yeah, there was like the amount of times that I was like just watching the screen and like going down a ramp and then flying in the air and then you're skydiving and then you're like going through like Millennium Falcon style, like flying through these pipes and then all of a sudden like you're back to running and then you're swimming. It was very much, I was like, this is a video game. You headbutt an eagle, and then the eagle takes you and like flies off.
With weird stuff where it's like the art style on the eagle is more like realistic than like the super cartoony. It's like lots of weird stuff like that, which I kind of love. And also super over-designed boss fights where it's like they're always really long. You never really know when it's checkpointing. It's just like very elaborate, like expensive seeming like giant bosses. You know, a lot of like bosses with rails going up and then it takes you all the way up to the weak spot and there's like 90 different phases of the fight, big health bar. So it's very, very, this is egregiously Sonic.
I will say, to the point of like, where remasters are like a very cool thing, it's kind of neat to at least be like, oh yeah, that Sonic Generations game that like was good, is coming back for new platforms, but at least there's a little more. There's like something. The Shadow part is like an incentive, but also like playing it was, as you said, it's egregiously Sonic. But this time a Shadow, and I guess like what Shadow has like a chaos mode. Is that like
the chaos control thing where it kind of seemed like was it Red Eye or Dead Eye from Red Dead, you know? Yeah, where it's like it kind of stops and you can target a bunch of guys and stuff like that. And there's like a weird manta ray thing, like a dark, I forgot what it's called.
Oh, you like surf?
Yeah, a lot of surfing and stuff. Yeah. Like you said, you're grinding, you're surfing.
Cool, you're Shadow Sonic, which means like you're like a little bit cooler and moodier.
Oh yeah,
so you like surf.
Yeah, that's
on a
surfers.
Why does it? Hold on. Is it me? Am I tripping or something? Why does it feel like they're just like kind of belittling / making fun of Sonic and Shadow in this? Like, I can hear some endearing words in there, so and so, but it almost comes off as condescending the way that they're talking about this game and the characters and all of it. Like it's weird. It's very weird. I don't understand what I'm hearing here / feeling. Like it's like half enthusiastic and half sarcastic, and I honestly don't know what to take off of that. Am I tripping? Y'all can let me know in the comments if I'm like getting too like into it, or you know, if I'm being too, I guess, sensitive to it. I don't know.
That's kind of
this is weird.
Point Break, you know,
exactly.
Yeah.
Shooting guns in the air. Shadow does that at one point in this game. I was gonna say the music in Sonic games are always like a very specific sort of thing and aesthetic, but hearing like new metal Sonic music was like a standout thing. And then when we got into one level, it was like thrash metal, and then I got into another level and it was like funk metal. So it's good to see like, I don't know.
At one point you took a headset off and you're like, is this Dave Mustaine?
I was like, this is Megadeth.
Yeah. And it's just Rust in Peace is the entire soundtrack.
I was like, I turned like the video game music off and turned the music up. I was like, I need to clarify. I was like, is this what Megadeth's doing these days?
Sonic music is, I put it in the same category as like wrestling music, of like songs you would never listen to independently, or you would think they were absolutely terrible if it just came on the radio. But like in context, like Batista's theme song, I'm not listening to on the radio, but if Batista's coming out, hell yeah, I walk alone. Yeah. But like Sonic is like, oh, this is right for a Sonic game. For this experience, we're doing the Sonic thing, let's go all the way in.
And they did it for Shadow. Well, we played it, and it's coming out soon.
October 25th?
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds right. We'll say that. Put it on the Wikipedia. I don't know.
Bye.
Hi.
I don't know how I felt about that. I really don't. Like, from what I saw, that all looked good and stuff. We also got a little extra gameplay there.
So like playing
muting them for a second. Like that shadow scene. I like that we got to see. Like we still get some cool little chaos control segments where Shadow's like using all the debris to smack it into Metal Sonic. I like that they showed off that you can like get like a quick shortcut if you take advantage of the enemies. A lot of different paths that you can take and shortcuts that you can find playing this. Yeah. Still don't know how I feel though about how they were. I gotta say, these guys have no idea what they're talking about, but the gameplay looks cool. That's what it feels like. Like they're claiming that they've played Sonic, or at least the other guy is claiming that he played Sonic. But I don't know. It's weird. Very weird. Very weird decisions. These guys have absolutely no idea what they're talking about in the slightest, and it really shows with the new finish. That's what everybody seems to be saying. For real. Yeah, they're clearly not huge Sonic fans. Sonic games usually been inconsistent or have a major bonker. It's clearly an exception. Be hit or miss with so many reviews. Stuck in 2010. You know it's not a game journalist reviewing a Sonic game unless they bring up that Sonic allegedly had a rough transition. What happened? Cool how chaos control doesn't affect Metal Overlord himself. Since he copied Shadow's bio data at one point, they're paying attention. Did it not? What? Hold on. I thought it did. Where's the segment when Shadow does the chaos control? I guess it isn't. Yeah, they're right. That is actually pretty dope. That is a good attention to detail. .254. You never really know when it's checkpointing. You literally pass through a checkpoint. It's an audio visual. Did he really say that just before hitting the checkpoint? I thought that was a little earlier.
It's like they're always really long. You never really know when it's checkpointing. Oh, yeah. It's just like,
oh, come on. Oh. I'm trying here. I'm really trying to be nice to GameSpot because honestly, IGN was the one that started a real bad rep, I feel, when it comes to like reviewing Sonic games. But like, stuff like this. Come on, man. Y'all gotta be paying attention, or at least just say, don't even bring it up if you don't know. Like, there's things you can do, like, or like, you know, clarify. I'm not entirely sure, but you know, there are some moments where it felt like for me that I didn't really know when a checkpoint was coming up. You know, there's things you can like say and do to help reduce the chances of people saying and doing stuff about you when you do stuff like that. Come on, man. Y'all making it real hard to like give y'all a like because y'all do stuff like that. And yes, I look, Sonic 06 was pretty bad. It was. The mod version, P06, obviously they fixed a lot of things that I feel made it a little better, much better. But like Sonic 06 did have some glaring issues in it, and people need to stop pretending like that's not the case. That said, talking about this game still in 06 in 2024 is kind of wild to like be digging that far back. I understand that this stage is from 06. I get that. I really do. But using that in context with all the past Sonic games that have came out, I don't know, man. Like, and you specifically chose to go for 06. You didn't even bother trying to go for the other games. So I don't know, man. Again, maybe I'm being too nice to them. Like even these people right here are saying they really had nobody else more qualified to do an interview, huh? The dude was even lazy to fake it. Didn't bother taking 10 minutes to research Sonic Frontiers or any game not older than 20 years ago. Because Kingdom Valley was an 06 stage, they're making a comparison. And I get that. And that's why I brought that up. Like, it is, there is a 06 stage in there. So, like, bringing up 06, I guess, was kind of unavoidable. But, like, clearly they're ready to harp on it at the same time. And I don't know. There's different perspectives on how a person should handle a review, but I feel they could have went about that a little more smoother instead of just making it so obvious they were ready to just like harp on Sonic because of 06 again. To each their own. Please stop talking and let us watch the raw footage. Goodness. I mean, like, that's literally what this video was for, man. If you want to watch the raw footage, there's another video for it. Or you could just mute it. You know? That's an option, too. 4 hours longer than Forces. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Did I do a full playthrough of Forces on my channel? I don't think I did. I think I played that on my own. Anyway, I don't know why, but I feel like these people were... Oh, hold on. Let me read this. I don't know why, but I feel like these people were paid to talk about Sonic X Shadow Generations. They don't know what to talk about. 158. Here Dan says it's 3D. It's a lot of, you know, rail grinding. There's a lot of loops. There's a lot of times when you feel like you can set the controller down and just watch Sonic run. I mean, he's just listing things that are seen very commonly in 3D Sonic games like loop-de-loops and rails for rail grinding. What's next? Oh, there's a lot of rings in there and dash panels. And I honestly don't understand what you meant by setting the controller down and watching Sonic run. I was just saying that earlier, y'all. Is it worse than Forces, a game known meticulously for pushing one button in the 3D Sonic stages and you win? Now you just put down the controller and see Sonic complete a stage while the player does nothing. Does nothing. And not just that, but other things that they were saying felt like they were just mentioning things that we know from the trailers Sega has put out for Shadow Generations. I'm not trying to show hate to these people or be mean. I only want to say that maybe take people who know Sonic well to make these kind of videos. Right. No, like, I get what he's saying. Like, because, like, it's so obvious to so many people watching here. You don't have to really be a Sonic fan to just see it in their demeanor and everything. It doesn't seem like they know what they're talking about when it comes to Sonic, let alone what Sonic has been doing or improving in over the years. They're just like kind of going off of like past memories, and obviously 06 is a memory that comes to mind of like being like one of the worst Sonic games to date. Honestly, I would honestly give that to Boom, because at least Sonic 06 felt fun at times. It just was janky as hell, but Boom was just boring as all hell. So, but that's a whole nother story. All right. We're gonna skip that. Looking at that, we're gonna look at one more video, and then I'm gonna end this. This is from Good Vibes Gaming.
So Ash, we just got back from Germany, Gamescom, and we played the brand new demo of Sonic X Shadow Generations. There were two of them. There was a show floor demo, which was basically the exact same as Summer Game Fest, exact same levels. It was Space Colony.
That's the one that
and then behind
mentioned
closed
in one of
doors,
the
we got an
podcasts.
expanded version with those levels, and also Kingdom Valley and the Metal Overlord boss. And you played this back at Summer Game Fest. And what was interesting is one of the first things you checked is whether it was on performance mode. And what was the result? Was it on performance mode by default?
No, and I'm taking full credit for this. So yeah, at SGF it was not on performance mode by default, and I mentioned in my preview from SGF that it was very framey. Image quality mode is very framey, not the ideal way to play this game. So I immediately switched to performance mode, and it was a buttery smooth 60 FPS. And now here, or there, I should say, at Gamescom, they were leading with performance mode. And I don't know about you, but I am taking sole credit for that. I caused this. I am the reason.
It was all on you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It's the way to go. I mean, the options are a bit interesting, actually.
Okay, that was informative.
Played would have been fiddled around
How
a
are they?
little bit. So what was funny is Shadow Generations is very similar to Frontiers in its controls, where the square button's homing attack.
Right.
Let me just real quick. I just want to bring this up. I don't understand why they would put. I don't understand why they would put it in graphic mode instead of performance mode. When Sonic games really rely on fast reaction time. This isn't a fighting game or anything, but like that is weird that Sega was doing that on their floors for like most of these games. Definitely should put it in performance mode. Like what? It's wild. I wonder if for PC though. That means it's less likely we could get like a 120.
X's jump and then Square's homing attack. And what was interesting is Sonic Generations actually has a completely different customization field. So if you want to stick with that for Shadow, you can. But it caught me off guard because the homing attack was on X again rather than Square. And you can change that, and I don't think that's the default.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're more comfortable with the standard control scheme, you can absolutely make X homing attack. There's nothing to stop.
Yeah, so I think someone set that for you, like set that on the demo you played before you played it. I'm pretty sure Square is.
Yeah, I don't imagine that's default.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But people don't want to hear about old stuff. We want to talk about the brand new stuff. So let's lead with Kingdom Valley, the remastered or remade Sonic 06 level. What did you think?
So to be clear, this is Kingdom Valley Act 1. Interestingly enough, they still have not let anyone see or play an Act 2 yet. So we don't exactly know what differentiates an Act 2 for Shadow yet. But no, Kingdom Valley Act 1, I enjoyed it. I think it's even an improvement over Space Colony Arc Act 1 in terms of there being more like multiple pathways to take through the level. There still, of course, is really one main path, I would say, but there are definite variations you can look out for along the way that if you want to go for them, they will open up alternate pathways to get where you're going, get you some bonus items.
I can tell that too, just looking at it.
In my preview from Summer Game Fest, I noted that there are 3 optional tokens per level that seem to indicate unlockable art, unlockable music, and then maybe unlockable lore. And I was able to find 2 of those coins by kind of exploring off the beaten path and finding some of those alternate pathways.
Yeah. So I did the show floor demo first, and this was my my first exposure to Shadow Generations.
Right.
And I came away from that at almost a little bit underwhelmed.
Right.
Because I played both Space Colony and then Green Hill from the standard generations. And Shadows 1 is very straight. There aren't that many bends. The path is just kind of forward. And it's not like Sonic where there's different layers. Like if you fall down,
Right.
you can then go down to the bottom layer and just sort of keep it flying. It is that one path really. But every now and then it stretches out to the left or the right. Optionally though. It's not. They don't expect you to go ahead and do those platforming. You can just go straight the entire time. And that's kind of the ethos of Shadow Generations. It has a lot of optional variety, so if you want to explore, you can, but you don't have to explore, which Sonic Generations, it didn't really lead that way. And playing them back-to-back, they definitely play extremely differently. This feels a lot more like sort of Forces, Frontiers-esque in its mechanics and everything, and that's still fine, though. I had a good time. And Kingdom Valley is a lot more open than Space Colony was. It still has that sort of straightforward linear path, but there are far more opportunities to go off the beaten path. Far more optional areas to see. And I played this, I think, 2 or 3 times. And each time I went a different path.
Yeah.
Like every now and then you are sort of forced into the same route. Like it does come back on itself. But I definitely took different areas each time. And it was fun just exploring them. And I will say, one thing about Shadow in general is everything is longer. Every level takes about 5 minutes here.
Yeah.
Versus Sonic Generations, which is like 2 to 3. But you had the same experience there?
Definitely. The Kingdom, I didn't feel that way as much about Space Colony Arc Act 1, only because, as you know, when you play that level, the second part of it is kind of a different, it's the same stage. It's not like 2 different stages.
Yeah. It's a cinematic
But it breaks
level.
up into like Radical Highway, kind of at the end, toward the
Yeah.
end. Whereas this is just Kingdom Valley Act 1. And it did feel a bit long, like 5 minutes. Not overly long. It didn't feel like it was overstaying its welcome to me, that I was like, oh, I'm bored. Oh, I want to be done with this. But it definitely was like, okay, this is a pretty long stage. And had it gone on too much longer beyond that, I think I would have been like, okay, this is probably a little silly.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying that it's bloated or anything, but
Yeah.
there are a couple of moments. Like, you'll remember in Sonic 06, if you've played it, you'll remember shattering through the stained glass window. You'll remember the eagle. And this level's like, yeah, remember that? And it just kind of does it 3 times in a row. Like there's like 3 very similar smashing through the stained glass window sequences. It's like, okay, maybe just one of those would have been fine, but we're nitpicking at that point. But it does sometimes get a bit excessive by drawing things out, and that's probably to justify the much shorter runtime of Shadow. But I still had a lot of fun with this one. I enjoyed it much more than Space.
So I hear what he's saying. You know, with some Sonic games, when you make the stages like way too long, it can definitely like pull away from the fun to some degree. Like it doesn't make it bad necessarily, but it does kind of like take away from the experience of, you know, you just blasting through a stage and stuff. Especially if like you try and use like all the fast paths and you like it still takes you like what, like maybe 8 or 9 minutes. That definitely could be a little bit of an issue, I think. There are some purists for like Sonic Unleashed that for the final stage, Eggman Land, that actually did love that. Even though it was like one of the longest stages in Sonic history. I'm kind of in the middle. Like I do like having like really long stages, but I don't necessarily want. Sorry about that. I don't necessarily want them to be too long, you know? It has to hit like a happy medium for me. I'd say like honestly 6 or 7 minutes is like the cap I feel that it should be taken for me to beat a level. If like the fastest time that I can finish a level is 7 minutes, I think that's okay. But honestly, I'd rather it be that I can finish the fastest I can finish a level is 5 minutes, you know? Like that I feel like is like the top the cap of what I would set for levels of how long they take to finish. If you're going like your fastest. That said though, I'm fine with the shorter levels. I do like the short levels with like cool little scenes and whatnot. I just don't want the levels to be 1 minute long. I don't want the levels to be 1 minute and 30 seconds long. I don't want it to just be 2 minutes long. And if it's gonna be 3 minutes long, like make it interesting the whole way through. I will go ahead and say though, I don't agree with them saying that Shadow that this stage kind of does the bird and glass too much, because that's literally what Kingdom Valley was all about. You took advantage of the eagle and the glass. You took advantage of the eagle and the glass. Heck, you actually get it. You actually get more segments than you realize, because like the transitions are seen from what I've seen so far, they're pretty well done. You literally are transitioning from sky to land to water, and then you go back to sky, land, water, and then the environments are at least changing up a majority of the time too, which I find to be cool, because one moment you're going through ruins, next thing you're going through buildings like tower buildings and stuff, and then another moment that then you're just like surfing through the water. So I don't know. I mean, again, that's also a preference. Sonic fans cannot agree on everything. They just can't. We all have our different opinions and what we like and what we enjoy, but I think that a few more people would be on my side if I said that. I think this is pretty in line with what I would expect from Kingdom Valley. I'm fine with the extra eagles. Is what I'm trying to say.
Colony. And as you were saying, Space Colony is shifting a lot.
I'm not going to watch all this also. I'm just going to look at a little bit more and then we're going to stop.
Very cinematic level, whereas this is just raw gameplay. But it also gives you... Sorry, you go ahead.
I was going to say, and grinding along those streams of water is never going to get old to me. I think it's still very cool. And go ahead, but I think you were about to say the thing I was going to mention.
Well, I was going to say about a bit more about, I guess, Shadow's Doom abilities, because you can surf on the water now in this level.
Yeah, so in this demo, Sega were really keen to show off the Doom Surf Shadow power in particular. And it's integrated into Kingdom Valley Act 1 and also the Metal Overlord boss fight we'll talk about in a little bit. And at first, it felt very unwieldy. I won't lie, I was like, this feels very gimmicky, a little bit weird. You have to press L and R to kind of like swipe. I want to say it, swipe or almost boost left and right.
Yeah, it's like when you're shifting while boosting a Sonic, like just a quick, shift to the left and right. Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. Like a little slower, I guess, but and in this context, it's used to clear away debris and obstacles that could otherwise damage Shadow, and later on to repel attacks. Like Metal Overlord will throw things at you, and you use this sideswipe attack to kind of reflect them back at him, kind of like a Link Ganondorf Master Sword fight, right, where you're bouncing the projectiles back and forth. But at first it felt very kind of gimmicky and not all that great, and then when I replayed the level after playing the boss fight, and felt it, and I was more confident in what I was doing with the Doom Surf, I actually really enjoyed it a lot more. It didn't like change the game or anything. It's not like blowing me away, but I enjoyed that kind of breakup in the pace for the rest of the level.
Yeah, and it's pretty much automatic. Like, you go into a sequence where you're in the water and Shadow's just automatically surfing. Like, there's no need to press a button or anything. It just shifts to it, like going from 3D to 2D almost. You spoke a bit about Metal Overlord there, and I think this is probably the most mixed bag of everything in the demo. And I think the first thing we both said to each other is the music has not changed. This is the same Crush 40 song from Sonic Heroes, not a remaster.
Yeah, which is this weirdest thing because every other part of the both the old demo and the new one has remixed music. I mean, and I was going to say Kingdom Valley's remixed music, which you can actually hear on YouTube now because Sega released it, is so good. It's great. And then same as the original demo, you know, the Biolizard boss fight has a new version of Supporting Me. Space Colony Architect 1, same. But yeah, for some reason, this particular boss fight with Metal Overlord uses the original version of What I'm Made Of. Now, that's still a banger, obviously. An awesome song. But, you know, I was expecting a remix, just like the rest of the game. So I don't know if it's just not ready, or maybe there really isn't going to be a remix of this particular song. But it was a little disappointing all the same.
And this fight's one of those sort of an on-rails boss battle, I'd call it. Like, you're using Shadow Surf ability, and all you have to do is just hit projectiles back at Metal Overlord, which you do by pressing R1 and L1. You just sort of drift into them, and they fly back.
So the only thing with what they're saying there is that that's what a lot of the more modern Sonic boss stages were, though. So I don't really know what they mean when they mean by I don't know what they're looking for necessarily. I guess they want more of what they got with the Biolizard fight. Because the Biolizard fight, you kind of had like, you're not on rails, right? Like, you have to like pay attention to the environment around you. You got the Biolizards trying to chomp at you, and then you got the tail trying to smack at you also. And then also the floor beneath you, there's little points where there's divots where you can like get stuck and then just get swept away by the drainage of the Biolizard and stuff. So I guess that's more so what they were looking for. But if we look at Sonic games as a whole, even back with Unleash, if we look back at Unleash and beyond, all those boss fights are literally like tunnel fights, essentially. You know, like you react on time, you do good side steps and stuff to knock stuff towards an enemy, or like find a path that can get you close to the enemy, and then you get the hits. Like, that's kind of really in line with like Sonic games nowadays in terms of boss fights, unless we're talking Frontiers, because Frontiers, I feel that's definitely a lot more different. Like, the closest thing for Frontiers that was more akin to like the past Sonic games was when you're like literally running after the squids, because they literally like have trails that you're running down and you're dodging the attacks until you get to the enemy, and then you hit him, and then he forms a platform. But the thing is, at least with that, he actually forms a platform, and then like you can like fight him from right there and stuff. That's what I like about Frontiers. I feel like the combat definitely has something interesting going on, and I want them to continue that with future Sonic boss fights. If we go back to like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, there's definitely a lot more fights where you're not just like running down a straight path and hitting stuff at an enemy or trying to reach the enemy. It's definitely more of a open landscape for fighting the enemy. But yeah, let's just hear a little bit more, and then we're gonna stop.
There's a few areas where you can like jump off a ramp and then homing attack and start punching him. But for the most part, this is a very slow boss battle, and you're waiting for those opportunities to come up to actually deal damage. And I don't think this quite represents Metal Overlord. Like, it's there's some cool dialogue
Yeah.
in there. Like at one point, Metal Overlord says something like, "I'm the true Ultimate Life Form. I'm the real Sonic," or something
Right.
like that, and that's cool. But
Yeah.
I love this boss in Heroes, especially the supersonic form, and it doesn't really do it justice.
I think he said something really crazy, like "I am the basis of all creation," or something really nuts. It's pretty, and Metal Sonic and Shadow are like trading barbs back and forth about who's the real ultimate life form and all that fun stuff. But yeah, the gameplay wise, it definitely was kind of it's on rails, a little bit slow. I don't think very representative of the actual Metal Overlord fight. And if we're comparing boss fights, I would say that I enjoyed the BioLizard one more from the original demo. And I was going to ask you, did you get to play the BioLizard
I did,
boss
yeah,
fight?
yeah. It starts off like exactly like Adventure 2 mechanically, but the same sort of, you get too close to his tail, he'll start like slamming at you, and you've got to wait for to make do the grind bit, and then it evolves into something else. And I love that. That's kind of what I wanted with this one, like something reminiscent, and then something higher octane.
I'm sorry, I paused it again. I'm trying to understand what they're saying here. So for those that don't know, Sonic Heroes, how that boss fight played out when you went against Metal Sonic here, you would turn super, and then you pass the super energy over to Tails and Knuckles, and then you go into the air and you're fighting Metal Sonic. That whole time that you're in the air fighting, you're going down a straight path, and Metal Sonic is throwing a whole bunch of obstacles and stuff your way to take care of. And you do this to build up your super meter, so you can hit him with the Team Blast and do damage to him. You have to do that to him like at least I think 4 or 5 times. To build up the super meter, you have to like deal with the stuff that he's throwing at you, or that you have to deal with. For Sonic, he sends like these little ice crystal things that you kind of saw that right in the video itself. But you break those to help build up the gauge. For Knuckles, his job was to take care of that thing that you see Metal holding right there right now. He would like throw like ships and buildings at you, and Knuckles would just like blast them away with his punches, like sending like fiery balls of energy and punches into the buildings to break them. And Tails, he would break the missiles that would be flying towards you. Like there was these little missiles that I guess they were basically ice missiles, but you would use Tails' Thunder Shoot to take care of those from a distance, so you don't get like frozen up and stuff. So it's definitely probably more involved in that sense, but to me, I don't feel like it was doing much in comparison to the other games that came before it. And I guess I'm kind of confused on what they're trying to say when they say that in Sonic Heroes you don't. In Sonic Heroes you don't. You do more. Because you're basically kind of doing the same thing here in this video.
But that wasn't really what this was. But I've come away from this demo pretty happy with what I played. I think I'm not expecting this to be a flawless masterpiece, and I'm not expecting it to live up to Sonic Generations at this point. But as a bonus, it's just great to re-experience these levels again, and it is a lot of fun. It takes a different approach to gameplay and level design, so expect it to feel different. Expect the level layouts to be different. And when you go from Shadow to Sonic Generations, there's a tangible feeling of difference in every regard. But we did also get to play Chemical Plant. We played Green Hill Zone as well, both Act 1 and Act 2 on Sonic Generations. And the drop dash, I didn't quite expect it. I never expected it. The drop dash is so versatile, and it makes the flow of classic Sonic so much more fun.
Yeah, you played Act 2, I played Act 1, and I made liberal use of the drop dash. And it really... Yeah, all the time, and really just like in other 2D, Sonic games, whether it's Sonic Mania or the games in Sonic Origins, the drop dash just makes classic Sonic gameplay so much better than it already is in any game that it's in. The drop dash is just fun, it's versatile, it keeps the momentum flowing even when you get damaged by enemies. You can, you can always spin dash, but there's something about being able to drop dash on the move in really whatever context you want that really just keeps the momentum and the flow going throughout the entire level or the entire game, really. And it makes what was already really fun gameplay even more fun, in my opinion.
Otherwise, Sonic Generations, it does have bonuses, which we didn't get to see here, like the Chow stuff. But otherwise, it is the same.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. That's very weird to bring that up as something that you feel is lacking in the game to me. Because like literally, you're literally waiting for the opportunity to do Team Blast. Like in this, like you're literally. I'm kind of done listening for the time being. But just like looking at the segment here, like literally, you're knocking stuff into Metal Sonic. Like you're constantly doing that at the very least, right? So that like. In the other game, you're just like getting rid of the stuff that he's throwing at you. And you're not actually like hitting him, and you don't hit him until you do Team Blast. So like it's kind of weird to me that that's a complaint that they're going with. Again, probably overthinking it, and I also have to realize there are different Sonic fans. There's different things that Sonic fans look for in a Sonic game. And, being able to accept that is very crucial as being a fan in this fan base. But I just can't really see that the complaints that they're having as an issue. Maybe I'll feel it when I actually play it myself. But I feel like they hit the marks of what I would expect in a modern Sonic game using Shadow and not Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in one sequence, I feel like they would probably do the same thing, honestly, with Sonic in if they had him fight Metal Sonic in that sequence, Metal Overlord. So yeah, that's all. I'm not gonna dive too deep into it. Look, they have the wall running segment too there. I'm gonna have so much fun exploring this game. But yeah, go ahead and stop it there. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I didn't really have anything else to really say when it comes to Sonic X Shadow Generations. Maybe I will react to another trailer if one comes out, but I'm not really looking for anything else to see. At this point, I'm just ready to play the game, Kind of don't want to be spoiled on too much more, especially if the game is only, the Shadow Generations portion is only 4 hours long. I think what I was planning to do was to probably play Sonic Generations. I'm gonna be jumping back and forth between them for each part that I do when I do play this game. I'm gonna be playing Sonic stage first. It's like first stage. Act 1 and Act 2 of the first stage, and then I'm gonna hop over to Shadow's story and play Act 1, Act 2. That would be a part. That's what the idea I was coming up with when it came to playing Sonic Generations. But yeah, that's gonna be it. One other thing before I end this, I was thinking for a bit. I know this doesn't have anything to do with the game, but for the the Hedgehog 3 movie coming out, one thing I was thinking about doing was playing through Sonic Adventure 2 again. I was thinking about trying to make like a playthrough that is what would you call it? Journey to Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie, and have us just go through Sonic Adventure 2 all the way to the end. I would like upload the playthrough and such, but I think that could be a fun little playthrough, right? I think we could do that. We go through the hero side, the dark side, and then get the last story, and then we watch the movie. I think that'd be fun. Let me know in the comments if you think that would be really dope. I think I really do want to do that though, but hearing y'all opinions on that, I think would be encouraging for me to actually go ahead and put in the time to actually do that. I thought that would be a fun thing to do for the channel. That's gonna be it. Stay tuned for more to come. If you enjoyed this, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Consider checking out our podcast, the Lunch Table. It'll be available. It's available on Spotify, but there's also video versions of it on YouTube. Episode 7 should be out later tonight on Spotify, and the video version should be out by the 30th of this month. Also consider joining our Discord. It's free to join. That's all I really have to say, honestly. Yeah. So never forget to stay luncheon. And catch y'all later. Peace.